I will say, Cherry, it is great to meet you. And Vera, it is so awesome to see you again. Of course,
You
we
too.
did the Conjuring.
You too.
But, yeah.
And your puppy.
What's that?
And your puppy.
That's
you
right.
And your puppy.
Your RCA Victor puppy.
Ah, Cherry knows.
65 years old. I know that.
No, that's awesome. And this is my little wink to radio, because in addition to our TV interview today, this interview is also on iHeartRadio. So,
great.
So I was in radio, went into TV, now back in radio doing both again. So that's that little wink. I like that. Good eye. All right. I had no idea that this happened. And of course, I'm here along the Gulf Coast of Texas. Interesting story. My mom, who's now retired, worked for the University of Texas Medical School here in Houston. She was the residency coordinator, and we watched this series together. And she said, I remember we had to bring the residents in, and I heard talk about what was going on. And now watching this, we're like, whoa. So Vera, what was your first reaction when you learned this story?
It's a gut punch, this story. Yeah. It really does put you in numerous perspectives and puts you in their shoes. It has that power as a script. Carlton Cuse and John Ridley are very powerful storytellers in their own right, and it's a very powerful combination of the two of their sensibilities. And in terms of really making you feel what that was like. And I just had an enormous compassion for every character in the script, but particularly my own. Yeah.
Yeah. So the follow-up, Cherry, is for you. Did it weigh heavy knowing that this is based on true events? Again, I went down a rabbit hole last night after I saw this, just couldn't, and it's right down the road in Louisiana. I know everybody watching this right now is like, oh my gosh, I got to watch this. But Cherry, did it weigh heavy knowing this is based on true events?
It always does if you do something that's based on true events. I mean, we had that little bit of distance because it was not a docudrama. It was a dramatization of a book about these events. But of course, knowing that people had I watched every minute of the coverage I could when after the levees broke, leading up to the hurricane, and then after the levees broke, when all hell broke loose. And I remember about 2 or 3 weeks later, there was an article on the front page of the New York Times, and I remember the photograph. It was like people were in silhouette, shot out, looking out over New Orleans, and it was taken at Memorial Hospital, and it was the first article about these rumors that there were bodies found that they weren't sure how they died. And I remember immediately having such sympathy for the people who'd lost those loved ones, but also immediately having such sympathy for those doctors and nurses, just trying to imagine then what they had been through and what they had survived and how many people they had helped survive. And knowing that doctors and nurses are there to do no harm and to make people comfortable with whatever horrible degradation they're suffering in their bodies. And so the very idea that these people who'd been through that were now going to be arrested, I couldn't fathom what was happening. It was like, how could anything be worse for these people? And then it was. And at the end of the day, people are going to be arguing about what happened, and what should have happened, what didn't happen, what did happen, and how will we ever know? But I have a friend who's a nurse who said that she is going to have to do some soul searching after watching it. She said, I have always thought, she's an oncology nurse, and she said, I've always thought I would know exactly what to do under almost any situation, and now I'm going to have to do some soul searching. And that's a woman who's been in nursing for 40 years.
Well, as I mentioned at the top, brought back memories from my mom as well, myself. I remember seeing the buses coming from Louisiana to the Astrodome area when people were coming. But listen, I appreciate your time today. Excellent work. You all should be very proud. You poured everything into it, and it definitely shows. And I'm just, thank you for doing this and telling this story. It needs to be told.
It does.
Thank you all. Great to see you again, Vera. Great to see you, Cherry.
Bye-bye. Good to meet you.
Take care.